I just finished my first cycle for building muscle, and I'm going to take you through everything I did, how I did it, things I think I did wrong, and how I'm going to improve upon that in the new cycle that I just started. So when I first started training, pretty much for like 3 years straight, I just kept doing the exact same program, going hard to failure for all my working sets, always trying to push a little more for some more weight, some more reps. And at a certain point, you can't really do that. You're gonna start hitting a wall, and I wasn't enjoying it as much and started feeling beat up from always pushing that hard with weights getting heavier and heavier. And varying rep ranges will help out with, if you're doing heavier weight with few reps, then it's going to beat up your joints more than if you're doing lighter weight with higher reps. But after watching Renaissance periodization a lot and learning about mesocycles, I decided I'm going to program my own and start trying some mesocycles of hypertrophy training. And oh, sorry, did you think I was talking about cycles of like drugs or anything? Because no PEDs, I'm drug free. I'm talking about mesocycles of training. So I'm gonna take you through my 6-week hypertrophy mesocycle that I just completed. And I started a new one based on how things went and how I'm gonna change that based on what I experienced doing that. So the idea with mesocycle training is you start out not easy, but easier, and you build up till you get to the point where your fatigue is high, you really push yourself to the end and you need a deload, and then you start over. Same thing, but ideally with higher weights than you started last time, so that you keep building upon that. And so that way you're not constantly feeling beat up, always pushing yourself to the max level. And I really like how it turned out. I really was able to work on form a lot more, and I'm gonna take you through how I did it here. So I had 5 weeks here of training, and then week 6 is a deload. So starting out towards the beginning of December, the way I did it is a 3-day split. So I do legs, push, pull, then I'd have a rest day, and then start over, legs, push, pull, rest. So to go through it twice, it's really 8 days. I have week 1.2 listed here, but essentially it's an 8-day program. And depending on how things worked with my job, going out of town, all that, the dates work out how they will. So what I did was squats for my main lift, then barbell lunges, bench. I put bench calf raise because I'm just doing it on the back of my bench with holding dumbbells. Incline bicep curls, so I'm not focusing a lot on biceps, but I do them on my leg day because on the pull day, my arms are pretty much toast from all the pulling I do. So I have 2 days between my back and my leg days, whether it's the chest day in between or the rest day. So my arms are good to go on the back day after doing curls 2 days prior, and then 2 days after the leg day. Since my biceps are just the secondary muscles pulling for the pulling exercises, I'm good to go for leg day. So it works out for me like that, and lets me change it up a little bit with not just focusing totally on legs. Stiff-legged deadlift and then leg extensions. So those last 4 I do as a circuit, and you can see I do different sets, like more of the arms and just a couple leg extensions because my legs are pretty fried. So the way that I do this is week 1, I start out with 12 reps on all my main lifts. And then week 2 is 11 reps, week 3 is 10 reps, week 4 is 9 reps, and week 5 is 8 reps. And adding 5 pounds or maybe more depending on the lift each session as we keep going up. So like here with squats, I start with 225 for 12. For reference, I just did a powerlifting competition and my max was 347. And then for my push day, I start with 175 on the bench. My max I did at the competition was 260. And then for deadlift, I started at 315 and my max was 474. So I did the 3 sets of that, 225 for 12, and I tell you, that was hard. I was really focused on trying to do full range of motion all the way down, all the way back up as far as I could, and it's like a cardio workout, especially since I've been doing a lot of heavyweight training going into the powerlifting competition. Going back to this was really difficult, and I'd slacked off on cardio for like 4 months going into the powerlifting because I was trying to gain weight, and the first week was pretty tough getting into it. But focused on that, got my good 3 sets of squats, and I did 2 sets of barbell lunges, and man, those are killer. I like doing it with the barbell better than the dumbbells because it just makes me stay upright more, because a lot of times I'll get off balance with the dumbbells, especially when they get heavy, because here I'd be using almost 60s and bending forward or anything like that. So with the bar on your back, you're kind of stuck in place. After doing those, my quads are pretty much fried. Like they were so swollen and pumped. I got my knee sleeves off and then went into my circuit. So I started out with the bench calf raise. I put double here because I'm initially doing a warm up with both my legs. So just doing a set of 20, and then the next round I'm doing single, so I'm doing one leg at a time, sets of 15, and then I add some weight for the next 2 sets. And the drop just means a drop set. So I'm doing the 25-pound weights, drop it, and then with no weight, did 5 more. So essentially I would do this as my first circuit, then this as my second circuit, this is my third, and then this as my final circuit. So as you can see, I'm doing more calf raises and more curls because I hadn't done any of those yet. I've already worked my quads and my hamstrings in the first main lifts, and so here I just got a few stiff-legged deadlifts because when I was doing those during my powerlifting training, I really felt in my hamstrings a lot more. Then I did leg curls, so as you see, I'm doing sets of 12 on pretty much everything here. And then leg extensions, I just did 2 sets, and the second one was a drop set. You can see I dropped the weight to 115 for 12 on the second set because the first set, it was just too heavy. And then similar stuff for everything else. So with bench press, 175 for 12, and that's all the way down, pausing, not like holding it for a long time, but going down, completely stopping, just like in a powerlifting competition, pushing back up. And that's how I did my bench presses. And then incline dumbbell press, I put 30 degrees. That's where the max I like to do, because going much past that, you're starting to get a lot more shoulders. So 30-degree incline dumbbell press, I did 60s. I only got 11. My chest was fried because, once again, I hadn't done high rep stuff in a while. I've been doing 5 to 6 reps at the most on almost all my training for like 4 months, going into the powerlifting competition. So when I got to this, it was really tough, but just for reference, I did 62 pounds for my first push day on the second mesocycle that I'm on now, and I got 12 reps just fine with both those sets. So then weighted dips after that, I did no weight for the first set. I thought I'd get 12, but my chest was fried. I only got 10, and then I added 20 pounds, and I only got 8. Did a drop set, no weight, and got 3 more reps. And once again, for comparison, on my push day here, I did 10 pounds for 12, and then 10 for 12 and dropped for an extra 5. So once you get used to it, it's not as difficult. But this was like a shock to my chest doing this the first time. And then superset with dumbbell lateral raises and tricep press down. I like using the angled V-shape metal bar for that. And the first set here is just a warm-up. So set of 15 with each, and then going into 3 sets more of the dumbbell lateral raises and 2 more sets of the tricep press down. So you can see I only got 10 there with 70, shooting for 12, but didn't get it. Then I did 3 sets of 25, and I was trying to go not just up to here, but get up as high as I can with these. Getting past that parallel to the ground part makes it a whole lot harder. And then on the last set of each, doing a drop set. And then finally for my pull day, starting out with deadlifts, did 315 sets of 12, and I could do more, but it's like a serious cardio workout. It takes about a minute for me to do these sets, and I am just breathing really hard. Felt like I was dying at the end of these. So it takes a lot out of you, again, when you're not used to doing those high rep sets. Then I did lat pull downs. The first one's a warm-up set, and then 3 sets after that. And then barbell rows. I didn't need any warm-ups because I'm pretty much good with pulling at that point. And did 3 sets there. And then superset dumbbell shrugs with straight arm pull down sets with the cable attachment, pulling down to your waist and back up. First one was kind of a warm-up set, and my lats are pretty fried at this point. So I did 1 harder drop set for the straight arm pull downs, and then 2 sets with the last one being a drop set for the shrugs. And so what I did from there is add 5 to 10 pounds and everything, doing the same workouts. So the next workout, I did sets of 12. You can see 230 for 12 on the squats, 180 for 12 on the bench press, and then I did 10 pounds more for deadlift, so 325 for 12 on the deadlift. And on all the deadlift days, I added 10 pounds every time, and I'll tell you that I definitely went too far. We'll get to that in a little bit, but here I didn't quite make it on the last one, the bench press, and what I started doing for the sets that I didn't get the 12, I did 11, I'd rack it, take a few breaths, unrack it, get the last rep, just to get all the reps still for the volume. And the same thing with like dumbbell press, I was able to get 12 each time with that. I stuck with the same weight. And with the barbell lunges, I added 5 pounds every workout with that. Then moving on, and all I'm gonna go over now is squat, bench, and deadlift, and I'll talk about when I added volume for the other stuff later. So then week 2, see we moved to 11, so we're going up 5 pounds. You can't keep going up 5 pounds and hit the same reps forever. It's gonna drop off really quick. So start dropping off the reps a little bit as we're moving up, and you're still in that hypertrophy range of 8 to 12 reps on your lifts. And so 235 for 11, got those fine with squats. 185 for 11 on the bench press, and it felt pretty easy, so I moved up to 190 for 11 on the last set. And I started adding a drop set this week after doing that third set of bench. And then deadlift, once again, added 10 pounds. Second half of week 2, moved up 5 pounds again, 240 for 11, no problem on squats. I did 190 for 11, and since I'd already done that last week on the third set, I decided to add 2.5 pounds. I got 11 more again with 192.5, and then I only got 9 on the third set. I was pretty fried after that, so I racked it, took a few breaths, unracked it, got 2 more reps, and still did a drop set. Up to 345 for 11 on the deadlifts. Week 3, now we're at sets of 10, so 245 for 10 on squats, 195 for 10 on the bench press, and you can see I only got 9 plus 1 on the second, third set, and 355 for 10 on the deadlift. And deadlifts were starting to get hard here. We're getting into the 350s and above. It started getting really fatiguing. Then second half of week 3, 250 for 10, 200 for 10 on the bench press. I got 10 both the first 2 sets just fine, and the last one was like I hit a wall. I hit 8 and I was like, nope. Unracked it, did 1. I was like, almost barely got that one up, racked it again, then got the 1. So that's why you see those pluses there. Still did a drop set from that. And here I started adding a third set for the incline dumbbell press, because as we keep going, the volume's dropping as far as reps, so I'm going to add sets on certain exercises. And I didn't want to add a bench press set yet, so I added a dumbbell press set, and that worked out good. And then 365 for 10 on the deadlift, and that was really tough. And as we're going through these, you can see I was on vacation for part of this, so I would write down like here, a lying chest row machine, and also here like this, I did leg presses instead of leg extensions because there was no leg press there. So I was at gyms that had other equipment, so I did other things on some of these lifts. And then moving on to week 4, now we're at 9 reps, so 255 for 9. I started doing a drop set on my squats, and that was really killer. Moved up to 204 for 9, then I only got 8, and then only got 6. Plus 1, plus 1, plus 1. So you can see I was starting to drop off, and I'm gonna have to do smaller increments on my bench presses on this next cycle that I'm doing now. 375 for 9. And I remember this one, it was tough. I was at a gym in Germany. I went to do deadlifts. They didn't have deadlift bars, so these were stiff bars, and that extra couple inches of the bar not moving coming up made it so much harder. So I still got through them all. It was killer, but it worked out. And like here, you can see I did seated chest row, machine, Smith machine, shrug. So adapt what you do. I'm not going to not work out because I can't do the program exactly how I planned. The main thing I do want to try to get though is the squat, bench, and deadlift, and that worked for almost every workout. And here I just put a lot of sets for this. I didn't track it because I don't use that machine very often. Second half of week 4, 260 for 9. I got all 3 sets on the squat. I went up to 209 for 8. Didn't get it, so I dropped back down to 204, only got 8. Dropped down to 199, only got 7. This is when I was on another trip again. Fatigue, that all sets in when you're traveling a lot, and fatigue from the program starting to build up. And just wasn't going very well at this point for the bench press, so smaller jumps for this current cycle. And this ended up being my last deadlift session here. Since I got 375 for 9, I thought I'm gonna go up 15 pounds when I get home, because I got through those sets of 9, and that's with a stiff bar, so it's going to be easier when I get home. I did 389 for 9, and I got all 3 sets, but I threw my back out, or it messed up my hip some. I was fine, but the next day it was just hurting, and it took half a week to go in the chiropractor a couple times to get it fixed up. But you can see here, I added sets of weighted dips as well this week. So a third set that I did a drop set on with weighted dips. And moving on to week 5, I did 270 for 8, and I only did the first half of week 5 because my wife and I were about to go on a trip to Italy, so I wasn't going to do this, be gone for a week and come back and then try to do the second half of it. So I just figured that'll be my deload. I'll cut this one off one set of workouts sooner. So this is my last workout, so instead of going to 265, I thought, well, I'll just kind of go all out and bump up to 270, what I would be doing at the end of the cycle. I got 8 on the first set, 7 on the next one, then only 6. So then I added another set of a 260 and only got 7, and I was dying there. Still did a drop set. Did my bench presses, 210 for 8, 210 for 8, and then 210 for 7. So you can see after being home resting back in my normal environment, my performance was a lot better. And then for the back day, you see my back, I said, was jacked after the last session. So I didn't do any deadlifts, just went through my other lat pull downs, still did some extra sets and my rows and everything there. And then the morning that we left, I wanted to just do some bench presses because that's not real hard on my body. So I went up to 215. I got 8 for both sets of those and then only 7 on the last one. So I was still able to get up pretty high on those, and I'm trying to keep the form the same, going down, pausing, going back on all of them. And the whole lift worked out pretty well. I did 4 sets again. So as you can see at the top, I put 4 sets of 8, 4 sets of 8, 4 sets of 9 there, and I wasn't going to do that with the deadlifts. That was too hard. I tried to do with the squats, didn't work out too well. But again, you know, we start out with 3 sets of 12, that's 36 reps. So by the end of it, if you do 4 sets of 8, well, you're only at 32 reps. So you're still doing less volume than before, but I didn't want to only go to 24 reps. So you're trying to adjust a little bit as you go up higher in weight, doing more sets since you're doing fewer reps. And that was how my first mesocycle worked out. So what I'm changing now for the current one, I'm changing one of the exercises on the leg day. I decided to switch to the lying leg curls because with doing those stiff leg deadlifts, that is hard on your back. I'm already doing squats, which is a lot of pressure on your back. The deadlifts, it's a lot of pressure on your back. So I want to give my lower back a little bit more of a break and see if that helped out with my performance on the squats and deadlifts this time around, and do the lying leg curls and do something a little different. And since my progression worked out fine with the squats, what I did was moved up. Since I knew I could get here on the second session of the first week, 230 for 12, I moved up just 3 pounds above that for my first session on squat, so 233 for 12. I don't want to go 235 already. I just want to do a smaller jump because I didn't hit all my sets on the very last session of squats anyways. So I wanted to have some smaller jumps. I'm going to keep doing 5 pounds on those. I'm going to do bench press and keep doing 5-pound jumps on those. Again, I did 180 for 12 and got almost all of them on that second session of the first cycle, and now I did 183 for 12 3 times. It was fine. So I got that done, and then for deadlifts, I just went 4 pounds above what I got for that second session, which was 325 for 12, so now I'm at 329 for 12. And this time with deadlifts, I'm gonna try just going up 7.5 pounds for each of the lifts, so it's 15 pounds every week instead of 20, and that'll take off, what, 30 pounds off the ending weight of what it would have been the previous time. So hopefully I won't kill my back this time by pushing it too hard, and it won't affect everything else. And tell you what, the pumps on these workouts have been crazy, especially the bench press. Going down, pausing, pushing up, trying to maintain good form throughout this whole thing is what I'm doing with all these main lifts, really with all of them. Getting a good stretch with everything, really feeling the stretch in the chest, in the legs, doing the squats. I mean, I've never felt my legs or my chest so pumped, and it has been working out really well. So I'm excited to see how my strength's gonna grow. After I finish this 6-week cycle, I'm gonna switch to a round of strength training again because I'm getting ready for another powerlifting competition later on this year. And I'm gonna see if I can push some higher numbers, hopefully get over 500 on the deadlift, you know, close to 400 on the squat, and eventually 300 on the bench press. I know that's not gonna happen anytime soon, but really locking in that form is helping out with these cycles I'm doing now. So if you guys want to follow the same type of program I'm doing, I post what I do a lot on Instagram at Camber Fitness. You can check it out there. But if you want more in depth, I can export my trackers for this stuff and make a download available for you if that's something you want to do. It's been working well for me, because if you're not tracking your progress with what you're doing, it's hard to tell if you are making progress. If you just go to the gym without a plan, then, you know, what's the point? I want to make sure I'm getting better. Yeah, you can still be healthy just by going and kind of doing whatever, but if you're wanting to improve, get stronger, grow muscle, get leaner, tracking your weights along with all this stuff, you have to be somewhat meticulous in what you're doing to make sure that you are making progress. I know that was a lot, but that's what it takes sometimes when you're working out. So leave a like if you made it this far, leave some comments if you feel like. Let me know if you think my program is stupid, or what you would do differently, or what you're doing now, and I'll take that into consideration when I'm programming my next one. And I'll see y'all in the next one.